All right, quarterbacks coach and assistant head coach, co-offensive coordinator, Chris Weinke, questions?
Coach, last year you had a lot of injuries at the running back, which I imagine limited you to what some of the things you wanted to do. How does the depth in that position now and also adding the bigger back help you with the offense?
Yeah, you look at every year's a new year, right? And you look at your roster, and I always say that the offense is always predicated on the personnel. What are we going to do? I think the ability for us in our offense, with a large library of plays, we're able to be creative. And then you come into spring this year and you get really excited about the running back room, right? There's some depth there. There's some older guys. There's some younger guys. Some guys coming off of injury. So it excites you, right? I mean, when you look at what we're trying to do offensively, we're trying to utilize everybody on offense. You saw us do a little bit of that, obviously, in the quarterback run game with Haynes last year. And I think that's a pure numbers game, right? We get the numbers when the quarterback's running it. So, but feel very good about that running back room and what Coach Norv has done with them, and proud of the guys, that the work that they're putting in, and really excited about that room and the depth that we've got there.
How have you seen Aaron progress over the last year, and how good can he be this season?
Yeah, he's a special one. There's no doubt. But I make sure that they understand that every day is a new day. There's always things to work on. The best part about my room, and that's all the guys in there, they want to be coached. They don't want to just be average. They want to be great. And that's a daily routine for them. They take the right approach. They ask the right questions. They put their cleats on to go to practice, to work every single day. And I appreciate that. That's the best part of my job, when you have guys that are wired the right way, that are willing to work. And Aaron, obviously, just being a young guy last year and thrown into action, did some really good things. And I think what he understands is now he's got to create that consistency. And that's the biggest thing. And, the old cliche of a process of development, and I think when you look at him, he's continued to get better every day. He has a better understanding of what we're trying to do. He knows and understands that, hey, this is different than high school, right? He threw for all those yards, but this is different. The guys are faster. So those plays that he made in high school where he could chuck and duck, okay, he's got to make better decisions in terms of that when the play breaks down. And then, along with that, you talk about the development and the process of the quarterback position. We live in this microwave society where everybody wants to play right now. They don't understand the intricacies and all the variables that come into playing at a high level. And the one guy that, has made some huge improvements is Graham Knowles, a kid that you look at a year ago who was only a one-year starter in high school. And what he's done this spring compared to last is night and day. So proud of him too. So very fortunate to be in that room. We got the right guys, excited about the future of that room.
How much has it changed since you were a player? I know at the legendary career at Florida State, how much do you see yourself in these quarterbacks now, or how much is the whole thing changed since you were a player?
Yeah, I think, there's obviously maybe things on the outside that have changed, but I think the development of the position, and my hope is that, the way I go about my business and the way I teach it permeates through the rest of them, right? Our room is never going to change. You guys hear me say it all the time. It starts with toughness. That room is full of toughness. There's no substitute for hard work, okay? And we always say that the standard is the standard. So I think when I look back on my career, and it's very similar, I played for Coach Richt, and he had the same type of approach, and I think these guys have been responsive. Not every kid is responsive to those types of things, and being in that room with those guys, they've been very responsive, so there's a lot of similarities.
I was going to let you speak about Grady. I know he's not here yet.
Yeah.
What would you like to him?
Yeah, so my process in terms of evaluating a quarterback is a little bit different than maybe some guys around the country, and I'm going to spend a lot more time peeling back the onion and finding out what they're like inside. And to me, I usually typically evaluate between 100 and 150 guys in each class, and that gets shrunk down to probably 50, and then I'll continue to evaluate those guys. And I know the landscape of college football doesn't necessarily lend itself to relationships these days. I'm still a relationship guy, and I want to build a good relationship. I want those guys to understand I care about them. that I'm here for them. And I truly believe if they know that they care about you, that they're going to work harder for you. And Grady is one of those guys, very athletic, really smart, but it starts with toughness. And every time I turned on his film or I went down to see him, you could see those things. He's really excited to get here in the next couple months and be a part of this. He stays in touch with all of our guys. I talk to him every single week. You know, he probably wishes he was here right now. He's missing out on some development right now, but very excited about the future of Grady.
You talked about the offense being personnel driven.
Yeah.
When you look at the receiver position, everybody was talking about Eric Rivers, but the guy that came in with him, Dean Patterson, I mean, he's the guy that's caught my eye. I mean, what have you seen from him in terms of teaming up with Haynes?
Yeah, I think the greatest part about this place is that anybody that comes in here from the outside is coming into a great environment. And I think you talk about Eric Rivers and Dean Patterson coming that were teammates, very successful, very productive. They came and fit right into our group. I know this, they both know how to work. They both approach it like a pro. Obviously, we've limited with Eric because of the injury, but Dean, I would say that, you know, the first 2 weeks, he's getting his feet wet, right? Trying to figure out how we practice, the tempo in which we practice with. Learning a new offense, it's like learning a new language. And then you saw the break over spring break, and he came back. He seems like a different guy. He's an unbelievable guy. His work ethic, I think his skill set is going to fit very well into what we're trying to do offensively. We've been very pleased with what Dean's been able to do.
Coach Weinke, when you look at a guy like Haynes King and taking his whole game, and obviously the run part of that is huge, but then you have the injury risk as we encountered last year. Is there a way you can coach a guy to have your cake and eat it too, and when to tuck, when to run, how much to do that, or is that all instinctive and you follow your own instincts on that?
Yeah, you know, he's the son of a hard-nosed coach. You know, his dad's a long-time, very successful high school coach, and I think that was instilled in him at a very young age. When that kid runs out of the tunnel to go play a football game, it's 100%. He's not worried about getting hurt. He plays one way. That's what I like about him. Obviously, you don't want to see him get hurt, but I think that's also an advantage for us in terms of the way he plays the game. You know, the advantage we get with him being able to run the football obviously puts a lot of pressure on the defense, but he's even stepped up his game. Obviously, he spent a lot of time rehabbing that injury, and I feel like he's operating our offense at a very high level and as good as I've seen him since he's been here.
Thank you.
Anything else for Coach Weinke? All right, Coach, thank you.
All right, guys.
Thanks.
Let me get a couple minutes with